So the first oil, I was about to read, but I'll wait. The first oil that I wanted to have a conversation with you about is Trauma Life. This oil is miraculous. When I first was introduced to Trauma Life, it was by some friends. We were all together, same friends who gifted me the oils. At this point, I was trusting them. I'm like, okay, I'm not dumb. I can figure this out, and started being able to ask more intelligent questions, right? And we were in Utah at the farm, and they were all buying a ton of Trauma Life, and they said I needed it, and I thought, okay, that's not what they're talking about, so I bought some. And so, well, how do I use this? And they said, well, just put it on your liver. And I'm thinking, and again, you have to understand, now I'm only in it about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years at this point, but that was the first I'd ever heard to put on your liver, and I didn't know what in the world why or what they were saying, and I thought, okay, fine, I'll put it on my liver. I had no idea why. I didn't ask any questions. I just did that. And at the time, I was losing my Schmidt over shoes being left out. I had 5 children at that point. We had just gone through cancer with our son. My daughter was born with a birth defect that landed her in the hospital for 31 days. Still homeschooling, of course, running a full-time hair business, and just stressed. There was a lot of stress. I would have said I'm just busy, and it's a little stressful. But as a Christian, I couldn't say I had trauma or that I was depressed. Like, you just don't say that kind of thing, right? You can say it to me, but you really don't say that. It's not something we talked about. And so I used Trauma Life over my liver dutifully every day, morning and night, and I started feeling better. It was the first time I had ever felt that I had to have an oil with me. I don't know if you've ever seen someone post like, oh, I can't leave the house without oils, or I need these oils. Like, you really don't. You need air. You need water. You don't need essential oils. But I realized I understood what they meant with Trauma Life, because it was like, oh, it was so good. And even the smell, it's interesting because now as I smell this oil, it smells the same to me, but I don't respond emotionally the same way as I did, 4 years ago. It's more just a pleasant scent, right? That's my take on it at this point. But at that time, it was something like, again, if I could have crawled in the bottle, I would have lived there. It was beautiful. And I couldn't explain why I felt better. I thought, okay, use this oil. And again, just like I had mentioned in any of my other videos like this series, it was a little frustrating. I'm like, I can't tell you the why. I have to be able to tell you the why. I'm all about the why. Why am I working this business? Why am I sharing oils with people? Why am I using these oils? Why do they work? I had to know the why. So I dive in. And at this point, I'm enjoying this book, and it's starting to, there's some truths that I'm realizing are in here. So I go back to it, and I'm looking at the different oils: lavender, frankincense, helichrysum, spruce, divana, a citrus hystrix. I've actually never heard of that one now that I'm reading it here. Geranium, just some beautiful oils. Valerian, I missed that one. And, I'm reading about each oil individually and what they do. I thought, okay, that's interesting. It just, they're just really soothing, trauma-releasing oils. And then you start diving into the science, the limbic system and opening pineal glands and oxygenating the brain and all of these lovely things that oils do. And it's like, all right, this is pretty fantastic. You see, I loved candles. Loved candles. And in fact, I still had candles in my home up until 3.5 years ago when I moved in Texas, because I didn't burn them at that point 3.5 years ago, but I didn't want to get rid of them, because what if I wanted it someday? What if we had a power failure? Whatever. I loved candles. I still do. I think they smell delightful. But I never had an experience with my candles. Does that make sense? With my oils, let's say I had a cinnamon candle and then I have cinnamon bark essential oil. I I had an experience, like I felt something. But with my cinnamon candle, I just thought it smelled good, and it made the house smell nice, which is nice, and it makes someone feel happy, and when their house smells clean and looks clean, doesn't it? But with cinnamon bark, I mean, it smells good. I'm not hungry because it helps keep your blood sugar in check. So that was cool, right? And so here we have Trauma Life. Let me just share this little tidbit with you. It says this blend was created at the request of Steven Seagal. I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself now. Like, I know who he was. Maybe some of you are like, who? He's an actor. Actor, director, producer, and for his volunteer work in the trauma hospital centers. So this blend was a request of his for the trauma units. Trauma Life may help release buried emotional trauma as well as upsets such as accidents, the death of a loved one, assault, abuse, etc. This blend of calming, grounding essential oils can help purge stress and uproot traumas that cause fatigue, anger, restlessness, and a weakened immune system. So interestingly, as I looked at emotions, I was realizing, oh my gosh, if we have trapped emotions, or if we're in an emotional state, like a negative emotional state, our immune system can be weak. Let me just tell you what, when people talk about cold and flu season, I'm like, listen, people, y'all don't need your flu shot. What you need is to just cheer the F up, right? I mean, for real, just cheer up, which is a little tricky to do if you're already sad. So here we go. If that's you, I got some oils that maybe can help you, right? We'll see. Steven Seagal is extremely pleased with the results that he has with this blend, using it even to help bring victims out of a coma. Now, that is not me telling you. I'm just reading what the book says. And when I read that, I was like, say what? Excuse me? It's pretty fantastic, don't you think? And it sounds fantastic as in like, but here we are. There's Trauma Life. And so knowing what this oil can do, it's one that I highly recommend to people. It's a frequency of about 92, so it's on the higher side. You can pair it with your joy, peace and calming. This is one that you would diffuse, maybe apply it over your heart, over your liver, over your feet, any area there if you've experienced trauma. I know I've used it on my C-section scar. My son broke his elbow this summer, and we went ahead and used it on the scar there because trauma can be trapped at the site of the injury. So anyway, that's the first emotion oil that I used. I really enjoyed it, and I now tell people starter kit, cedarwood, Trauma Life. You're set. That's all you need for all things.